So here we are. The one thing Harry and Meghan swore up and down to protect, their children, is now the very thing tearing their entire image apart. And who's at the center of this storm? None other than Tom Bower. A man who doesn't just drop claims, he detonates them like bombs right in the middle of the Sussex fairy tale. The question on everyone's lips now isn't about royal protocol, palace politics, or even Meghan's never-ending feud with the firm. No, it's something far more explosive. Who exactly are Archie and Lilibet? For any normal family, that question would be beyond outrageous. But for the Sussexes, where every single move has been packaged, branded, filtered, and sold like a Netflix special, it hits differently. It cuts deep. And here's the kicker. Bower's claim isn't some cheap tabloid whisper floating in the background. Oh no, this is sharp, it's direct, and it's dripping with years of his trademark digging. He's suggesting that Archie and Lilibet might not even be Meghan and Harry's biological children. That surrogacy wasn't just a private choice, it was a carefully hidden secret. And maybe, just maybe, that's not even the full story. Now pause for a second. Let that sink in, because this isn't about parenting styles, privacy boundaries, or Meghan's obsession with control. This is about legitimacy, bloodline, royal lineage. And if there's even a speck of truth to what Bower is putting out there, then we're not just talking scandal, we're talking a wrecking ball aimed at the very foundation of the monarchy. Harry, once the cheeky beloved prince, the one people rooted for, has now become the butt of memes, jokes, and endless mockery. Some say he's just a fool, blindly dragged into all this by Meghan's iron grip. Others whisper that he's not just complicit but a willing co-conspirator in a deception so personal it slices through centuries of royal tradition. Either way, the man is spiraling, and it's not pretty. Reports out of Montecito paint the picture of a restless Harry, pacing rooms, snapping at staff, obsessing over every headline, every whisper online. The same man who once made mental health his signature cause is now unraveling before our eyes under the crushing weight of his own narrative. And Meghan? Oh, she's not pacing. She's not panicking out loud. She's gone cold, calculated. Instead of emotional outbursts, she's got her lawyers on speed dial, drafting legal threats, throwing around cease and desist letters like confetti, hoping to choke this fire with silence and lawsuits. But here's the cosmic irony. The harder she tries to shut it down, the more the world wants to know exactly what's being hidden. Critics are already pointing to the so-called pregnancy photos, the oddly staged ones, the blurry timelines, the absence of anything resembling a normal royal birth announcement. Why were there no hospital photos? Why were the timelines always so vague? Why did every single moment feel so staged, like it was meant for Netflix rather than real life? And then there's the distance. Unlike William and Kate's kids, who we've seen photographed with Charles, Camilla, and even the late Queen countless times, Archie and Lilibet are like ghosts, barely any interaction with senior royals. And people are asking the question out loud now. Is that just coincidence? Or was the palace deliberately keeping its distance all along? Make no mistake, this isn't just gossip. This has real, bone-deep implications. If the kids were born via surrogacy, that's one thing. But if outside donors were involved? If the biological connections aren't what Harry and Meghan have claimed, that's not just messy, that's a royal earthquake. And the aftershocks would slam right into the line of succession. And that's one thing the monarchy cannot, absolutely cannot, afford to be vague about. Tom Bower isn't just some drama-loving author stirring the pot to sell books. He has a history of unearthing royal truths so ugly, so uncomfortable, that they shook the monarchy to its core. And too many of his predictions have turned out to be eerily accurate. Now he's lit the match on what might be his most explosive revelation yet. One that threatens not just Harry and Meghan's polished brand, but their very place in royal history. And yet, through all this chaos, all this noise, one thing remains deafeningly silent. Harry and Meghan themselves. No statement, no denial, no DNA test, just silence. And in a storm like this, silence isn't golden. It screams, it fuels the fire. It makes the world wonder, what exactly are they hiding? Because let's be real, if they had nothing to fear, wouldn't they have proven it by now? The whispers have grown into roars. Calls for DNA testing are no longer some fringe conspiracy. They're blasting across social media, tabloids, and even primetime news. Panelists debate it. Hashtags trend. Everyone's throwing the same burning question around. If Meghan and Harry have nothing to hide, then why not take the test? From a PR perspective, this is a nightmare. The Sussex brand was built on the polished image of a young, modern family. 2 loving parents, 2 perfect children, a sprawling mansion in sunny Montecito, Netflix specials, Spotify podcasts, glossy magazine spreads, the whole fairy tale package. But now, that picture-perfect frame is cracking wide open. And these aren't tiny hairline cracks you can patch over with staged photos. These are deep structural fractures that threaten to split everything apart. Because this scandal isn't just about fame or reputation, this is about legitimacy, the legitimacy of their children. And when you mess with the concept of bloodline, especially in the royal family, you're stepping on sacred ground. For Harry, this hits like no other scandal ever has. He's always clung to fatherhood like his redemption arc. Whenever he was criticized for ditching the royal family, for trashing his brother, for airing out family dirty laundry on Oprah, he pointed to one thing: it was all for the children. Fatherhood saved him, grounded him, gave him purpose. At least that's the story he sold to the world. But now critics are sneering. What if the children he speaks about aren't even biologically his? It's brutal, it's vicious, and it doesn't just poke holes in his image, it rips it to shreds. Because the Harry who once walked behind Diana's coffin as the world's symbol of strength and resilience, he's now being painted in two equally devastating ways. Either a naive puppet dancing on Meghan's strings, or a cold, calculating liar who knowingly took part in the biggest royal cover-up in decades. Neither look is flattering. One makes him pitiful, the other makes him dishonest, and worst of all, both make him powerless. A man who doesn't even control the narrative of his own family. Insiders in Montecito are whispering that the mood inside their mansion has turned dark, grim even. Harry has reportedly become obsessed. He's glued to his phone, dissecting every article, rumor, and YouTube video, rewatching interviews, comparing pregnancy timelines, studying photos of his own children as if he can find the truth in their faces. He's unraveling. Snapping at Meghan, ranting at staff, losing sleep. The anxiety and paranoia are bleeding out into everything. And for a man who spent the last few years branding himself as the champion of mental health, the irony is staggering. The therapy prince now looks like he's trapped in his own spiral of fear and paranoia. Meanwhile, Meghan's playing the opposite game. Cold, calculated, detached. Reports say she's on the phone with lawyers, exploring every possible legal route to crush this story before it blows up any further. But here's the problem. Every cease and desist letter she sends out only fans the flames higher. Because the louder she shouts, "Stop talking about this," the more people whisper, "What are you so desperate to hide?" And then there's the palace. Oh, the palace. Their silence has been absolutely chilling. Not one word from King Charles. Not a single public photo with Archie or Lilibet in recent memory. No official birthday greetings. No grandparent-style visits. No cute photo ops with cousins. Compare that with the endless stream of public moments William and Kate share with their children. It's like night and day. Observers are starting to wonder, does the palace already suspect something? Or worse, have they known the truth all along? There's a theory gaining serious traction now that the royal family's distance from Archie and Lilibet isn't punishment, it's protection. By keeping the kids at arm's length, they insulated the monarchy from a scandal they always feared might erupt. And now that Tom Bower has dragged it into the light, they're just waiting for Harry and Meghan to either confess or collapse under the weight of it all. And that's terrifying. Because if even the palace, with its centuries-long obsession with control, tradition, and secrecy, quietly backed away from these children, that changes everything. It turns this whole saga from a tabloid circus into a full-blown royal reckoning. For any normal family, that question would be disgusting, outrageous, cruel even. But for Harry and Meghan, the Sussexes, who've built an empire around branding every single part of their lives, who've packaged themselves as the modern fairy tale for Netflix and the press, that question lands differently. It hits harder, and it doesn't let go. Tom Bower isn't tossing around vague gossip or fuzzy half-truths. His claim is sharp, direct, and according to him, backed by years of digging. He suggests Archie and Lilibet may not even be Meghan and Harry's biological children at all. That surrogacy wasn't just a quiet personal decision. They went to extreme lengths to hide it, and whisper it softer. Because there's speculation it may not even end there. Let that sink in. Because this isn't about parenting styles, Meghan's love of photo filters, or Harry's endless mental health speeches. This is about legitimacy, about bloodline, about royal lineage, and if there's any truth, even a crumb to what Bower is saying, this isn't just another royal scandal. This is a wrecking ball, swinging right at the foundations of the monarchy itself. Harry, once the cheeky, fun, rebellious prince the world adored, now looks like a punchline. The memes, the mockery, the late-night jokes. Some people see him as the ultimate fool, a man blindly dragged into Meghan's web. Others paint him as something even worse, a knowing co-conspirator in a deception so personal, so shattering that it slices through centuries of royal tradition. Either way, the man is panicking. Reports coming out of Montecito describe Harry as restless, pacing rooms, snapping at staff, obsessing over every headline, every online whisper. This is the same man who once championed mental health, who begged the world to prioritize therapy and healing. Now the irony is brutal. He looks like he's unraveling, drowning in paranoia under the weight of his own narrative, because it would mean even the palace, with all its resources, its obsession with optics and secrecy, decided the smartest move wasn't to defend Harry and Meghan, it was to quietly back away, to keep the children out of the spotlight, to prepare for the day when the whispers became too loud to ignore. And now, that day has arrived.